Many everyday products are bought without a second thought, and when you run out, you just grab more at the nearest store. But buying these same items outside Costco often costs more, even though the quality, brand, and contents are identical. The real difference is the price. Costco offers the same products for far less, which can add up to hundreds of dollars in savings each year. If you're finding this helpful, a quick like would be appreciated. 1. Kirkland Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Kirkland Extra Virgin Olive Oil is one of those everyday products that really makes people pause once they hear what's actually behind it. Walk down the olive oil aisle in most grocery stores, and you'll see plenty of bottles with Italian-sounding labels and fancy packaging, often priced somewhere between $25 and $30 for roughly the same amount of oil. Meanwhile, at Costco, a large 2-liter container of Kirkland Extra Virgin Olive Oil usually costs around $12. That's less than half the price, yet the quality doesn't take a hit. What surprises many people is that Kirkland's olive oil goes through independent testing and has repeatedly met strict purity standards. Ironically, some brands marketed as premium haven't always passed those same tests because their oils were blended or diluted. The olives themselves are gathered from several Mediterranean regions, and the oil is packaged in dark bottles designed to limit exposure to light. It might sound like a small detail, but that kind of packaging actually helps preserve freshness and flavor over time. In terms of taste, the oil delivers a mild grassy aroma, followed by a smooth, slightly peppery finish. Exactly the sort of balanced flavor you'd expect from a reliable everyday extra virgin olive oil. So when a brand like California Olive Ranch sells a similar-sized bottle for about $28, it naturally raises a simple question. Are you really paying for noticeably better taste, or are you mostly paying for the story printed on the label? 2. Belgioioso Whole Parmesan. Cheesu. Belgioioso Whole Parmesan is one of those ingredients that quickly shows you why buying pre-grated Parmesan just doesn't make much sense anymore. Sure, those familiar green and red shaker bottles are convenient, but the flavor tends to be dull and one-dimensional. On top of that, they usually include anti-caking additives to keep the cheese from clumping. With Belgioioso, you're working with a solid wedge of authentic Parmesan that has been aged for more than 24 months and crafted using traditional Italian methods, without any fillers mixed in. The difference becomes obvious the moment you start grating it. The aroma is rich and bold, the saltiness is nicely balanced, and there's a gentle hint of sweetness layered over that deep, savory umami flavor. Just a few light strokes with a microplane grater can instantly transform a simple bowl of pasta, a fresh salad, or even a basic soup into something that tastes far more refined. Another advantage is what's not in it. Whole Parmesan doesn't contain cellulose, a common additive found in many pre-grated cheeses that can mute both the texture and the overall flavor. At Costco, a block of Belgioioso Parmesan usually sells for about $14.49. Compare that to specialty cheese counters or upscale grocery stores, where the exact same product often lands somewhere between $28 and $35. 3. La Colombe Canned Latte. La Colombe's canned latte is one of those drinks that can make you pause for a second and wonder what you've really been paying for at coffee shops all this time. Think about the usual routine: waiting in line for 10 or 15 minutes, then walking away with a $5 or $6 latte that's often packed with ice and topped with more foam than coffee. At Costco, however, a single can of La Colombe typically costs just a little over $1. Even more surprising, the quality feels far beyond what most people expect from canned coffee. What really makes La Colombe different is the way the drink is prepared. This isn't watered-down coffee with milk thrown in at the last minute. Instead, the company uses cold-pressed espresso blended with real milk, which creates a naturally smooth, creamy foam inside the can. As soon as you crack it open, the flavor comes through clearly. The coffee tastes balanced and smooth rather than bitter, while the milk adds a creamy texture without turning the drink into an overly sweet, dessert-style coffee like many bottled options. Nutritionally, each can contains around 150 calories and about 10 grams of protein. That combination makes it satisfying enough to get you through the morning, without the sugar crash that often follows syrup-heavy Frappuccino-style drinks. Another convenient bonus is that the cans are shelf-stable. You can keep a few tucked away in your desk drawer, the trunk of your car, or even a spare fridge in the garage. So on those slower, groggy mornings, you still have a solid cup of coffee ready whenever you need it. 4. Huggies diapers. Huggies diapers are one of those purchases where the true value usually becomes obvious only after you've bought them somewhere else first. When you're standing in the store aisle looking at the shelf, the price difference between brands, or even between stores, might only be a few cents per diaper. At first glance, that doesn't feel like much. But that's exactly where the hidden cost comes in. The thing is, diapers aren't a one-time purchase. Parents don't just buy a single pack. They end up buying thousands over time. And when you start multiplying those tiny price differences across that many diapers, the total savings or extra cost becomes very real. At Costco, Huggies diapers typically average about 25 cents per diaper. Compare that with places like Target or many regular grocery stores, where the exact same diapers often land somewhere between 35 and 40 cents each. On the surface, that price gap might seem small. But when you consider that the average baby uses roughly 2,500 diapers during the first year alone, those few cents quickly add up. By the end of the year, that difference can easily translate into hundreds of dollars saved on a product that, quite literally, gets tossed away after a single use. 5. Pure maple syrup. Pure maple syrup is one of the most misunderstood staples sitting in many home kitchens. A lot of people think of it as nothing more than a topping for pancakes, so they usually grab whichever bottle happens to be closest or cheapest. But here's the surprising part. Most of the syrups you see lining grocery store shelves aren't actually real maple syrup. In many cases, they're mostly corn syrup that's been flavored and colored to resemble the real thing. If you take a moment to read the ingredient list, you'll notice it's often long and full of additives. Authentic maple syrup, on the other hand, is incredibly simple. It contains just one ingredient: maple syrup. At Costco, a bottle of genuine maple syrup usually works out to about 40 cents per ounce. Compare that with stores like Whole Foods or other upscale grocers, where the exact same grade can easily cost $1.25 per ounce, or sometimes even more. The difference in price isn't about higher quality. It mostly comes down to where you're buying it. Real maple syrup stands out immediately once you try it. It has a deep amber color, a naturally rich sweetness, and a smooth finish that carries subtle notes of caramel. And unlike imitation syrups, it's not just empty sweetness. Genuine maple syrup naturally contains antioxidants, along with trace minerals such as zinc and manganese, nutrients that artificial versions simply don't provide. Of course, it's perfect drizzled over pancakes or waffles, but it's far more versatile than that. You can stir it into oatmeal, brush it over salmon as a glaze, mix it into baked beans, or even blend it into homemade salad dressings. Because the flavor is so concentrated, a small amount goes a surprisingly long way. 6. RX Bar Protein Bars. RX Bar protein bars are one of the few snack options where the ingredients are refreshingly straightforward. Just glance at the front of the package and you already know what's inside: egg whites, nuts, and dates. There are no confusing marketing phrases, no mystery ingredients, and no hidden sweeteners buried in the fine print. But the biggest reason these bars make more sense to buy at Costco isn't clever branding, it's the price. If you pick one up at a gas station or convenience store, a single RX bar will usually cost around $3. It's the kind of snack you finish in just a couple of minutes, yet the cost adds up quickly if you buy them that way. At Costco, though, the math looks very different. When you buy the multi-pack, each bar typically comes out to about $1.25. That's less than half the price for the exact same product. Nutritionally, each RX bar delivers about 12 grams of protein and contains no added sugar. That makes it a solid option for those moments when hunger sneaks up between meals and you need something that actually holds you over. Compared with many healthy granola bars, which often turn out to be little more than candy bars dressed up with wholesome packaging, RX bars provide more balanced energy and help you avoid that mid-afternoon slump around 3 p.m. Another nice bonus is that the mixed boxes Costco sells usually include several different flavors. That variety keeps things interesting so you're not stuck eating the same one day after day. 7. Bounty paper towels. Coffee spills, splashes of sauce on the counter, greasy drips from cooking. Little messes like these always seem to appear out of nowhere, and usually when you're already busy. Because paper towels are such a basic household item, most people don't think twice about where they buy them. When they run low, They simply grab another pack from the closest store without stopping to consider the actual cost per use. At Costco, the Bounty Triple Roll Pack might appear to include just 12 rolls at first glance. However, each of those rolls is designed to equal 3 standard rolls. So when you do the math, that single package is really the equivalent of 36 regular rolls. Once you break down the price, the savings become clearer. Compared with buying the same product at a typical grocery store, the Costco pack usually works out to about $2 less per equivalent roll, even though it's the exact same Bounty paper towels in the familiar green packaging. Of course, price isn't the only reason Bounty continues to be such a common household staple. The sheets are thick, durable, and highly absorbent, which means you often only need one sheet to take care of a spill. The Select a Size feature is also genuinely useful, letting you tear off smaller pieces when you don't need a full sheet. And because the Costco pack contains so much, a single purchase can easily last a family anywhere from 4 to 6 months. 8. Tide Pods. Laundry detergent. Tide Pods are about as convenient as laundry products get. Each small pod packs detergent, stain removers, and brightening agents all into one simple dose. Instead of pouring liquid or measuring powder, you just toss a pod into the washer and you're done. At many regular stores, you'll often see smaller boxes that seem cheaper at first glance. They look like a good deal sitting on the shelf. But once you calculate the actual cost per load, those boxes can end up costing around 35 to 40 cents every time you run the washer. Buying them at Costco changes the math quite a bit. There, Tide Pods usually average closer to 20 cents per load, which is nearly half the price for the exact same formula. Part of what makes these pods so popular is the simplicity. Every pod already contains the right balance of detergent, stain-fighting ingredients, and fabric brighteners, so there's no guesswork or measuring involved. Cleaning tests and independent rankings frequently place Tide Pods near the top when it comes to handling everyday household stains, which helps explain why they've become a go-to choice for many families. And because the Costco box is so large, it tends to last a while. For a household that runs laundry regularly, one box can easily stretch across 4 or even 5 months, meaning detergent is one less thing you have to think about for an entire season. 9. Almond butter, Barney butter. Almond butter, like Barney butter, can feel like a luxury at regular grocery stores. A small jar often sells for $7 or $8, and before you know it, it's gone, making healthy eating feel like it comes with a hidden extra cost. At Costco, though, the math is much friendlier. You can pick up a 2-pack of 28-ounce jars for under $14, which breaks down to about $3.50 per jar, roughly half the price for the same high-quality almond butter. What really makes Barney butter stand out is how clean the ingredients are. It's simply ground almonds. No added sugar, no hydrogenated oils, and no artificial stabilizers. If you notice oil separating at the top, don't worry. That's actually a good sign. It shows nothing extra has been added. Just give it a quick stir, and it's ready to enjoy. The flavor itself is rich, smooth, and naturally nutty without any harshness. It's perfect on toast, blended into smoothies, or paired with fresh fruit like apples or bananas. If this tip about Barney butter caught you off guard, don't forget to like the video. It's worth sharing. 10. Duracell AA batteries. You don't truly appreciate the value of having spare batteries until the moment the TV remote dies mid-movie, your digital scale flashes low battery, or a blood pressure monitor starts beeping in the middle of the night. That's usually when people rush to a nearby drugstore or convenience store, paying whatever they have to just to keep things running. At Costco, buying Duracell AA batteries in bulk changes the game. Each battery works out to about 45 cents, compared with 75 cents to $1 per battery when purchased individually at places like CVS or other convenience stores. These are not cheap imitations. They're the same classic Duracell copper top batteries you already know and trust, just bought in a smarter way. Another huge advantage is their impressive shelf life, which can last up to 10 years. Buying in bulk doesn't carry much risk of waste, making it a practical investment for any household. Many people call this the unpreparedness tax. If you don't keep a stock on hand, you'll end up paying it sooner or later, either in time, money, or stress. 11. Crest 3D White Toothpaste. Crest 3D White toothpaste is one of those items people often grab on autopilot, The tube runs low, you notice it late at night, and you need it first thing in the morning. So the easiest option is to pick one up at a drugstore or convenience store without even checking the price. At Costco, the same toothpaste comes in a large pack of 5 tubes for about $20, which works out to just $4 per tube. Buy it outside, and a single tube often costs $6 to $7. Exactly the same whitening formula and familiar mint flavor. The only difference is where you make the purchase. Each tube generally lasts around 2 to 3 months if you brush twice daily. That means one Costco pack can last nearly a whole year, saving you multiple trips and letting you forget about buying toothpaste for months. 12. Organic coconut oil. Organic coconut oil is a perfect example of how food trends shift, but the marketing tactics rarely change. For a while, coconut oil was painted as a heart health villain. Then, seemingly overnight, it became a wellness superstar, praised for cooking, skincare, hair treatments, and even oil pulling. Naturally, the market responded with tiny jars sold at inflated prices, all sporting buzzwords like organic, cold-pressed, and wellness lifestyle to make them feel exclusive. Costco takes a completely different approach. They offer large jars of high-quality organic coconut oil, prioritizing value and practicality over marketing hype. The oil itself is cold-pressed and unrefined, keeping its natural coconut aroma intact, and it's versatile enough for both culinary and personal care uses. One jar can easily last 6 to 12 months, far longer than the small specialty store jars that vanish in just a few weeks. 13. Heavy-duty aluminum foil. Large roll. Oversized aluminum foil might not sound exciting, but it's one of those household items where people often overspend without even noticing. On every grocery trip, many of us grab a small box, use it up in a few weeks, and then buy another. One purchase doesn't seem like much, but over time, those small costs really add up. Costco offers a giant roll of aluminum foil that stretches up to 500 square feet, about the equivalent of 4 or 5 standard boxes combined. And it's not just the size that's impressive. This is genuine heavy-duty foil, thick and strong enough to wrap everything from grilled meats and fish to full trays of chicken or vegetables without ripping. Unlike the thin, flimsy foil sold at many grocery stores that tears at the slightest tug, this foil holds up under real use. What's even more surprising is how long it lasts. A single roll can easily last nearly 2 years. In fact, it's so durable that many households actually forget they ever had it until it's time to stock up again. 14. Fully cooked chicken breast. Rotisserie/ready-to-eat. Fully cooked chicken breast is one of those fridge staples that quickly proves its value once you start keeping it on hand. For many families, it acts as dinner insurance. On nights when you get home exhausted and don't have the energy to cook, finding 3 pounds of ready-to-eat chicken in the fridge makes mealtime a breeze. There's no thawing, no seasoning, just heat it up and dig in. What really makes it worth buying is the quality. The meat stays tender and juicy, unlike many pre-cooked chicken options that can be dry or rubbery. At Costco, the price usually comes out to just over $3 per pound, while deli counters or grocery stores often charge $6 to $7 per pound for similar convenience. The difference isn't lower quality. It's simply Costco's ability to offer bulk pricing without compromising on taste or texture. 15. Organic eggs. The moment the word organic appears on an egg carton, prices tend to jump to $7 or $8 per dozen, leaving many people wondering if eggs really need to cost that much. That perspective changes fast when you check out Costco's egg section. A 24-count pack of organic eggs is priced so reasonably that shoppers often double-check the sign just to make sure it's correct. These eggs come from free-range hens fed a more natural diet, producing yolks with a deeper orange color, richer texture, creamier consistency, and more flavor, much like eggs from a backyard flock. The average American consumes nearly 300 eggs each year. Even a small difference of a few cents per egg can add up to significant savings over time. Buying organic eggs at Costco isn't about cutting corners on quality. It's about getting genuinely good eggs at a fair, practical price. 16. Organic chicken broth. Pacific Foods. Pacific Foods. Organic chicken broth is a huge time saver, giving you a ready-to-use broth without the hours of simmering bones and constant attention that homemade broth requires. Anyone who's made broth from scratch knows the process. Buying the bones, simmering for hours, skimming off foam, and cleaning up afterward, it can easily take up an entire afternoon. Realistically, that's not something you can do every day. At Costco, a six-pack of Pacific Foods organic chicken broth usually costs around $12 to $13, which comes out to just over $2 per carton. The broth itself has a clean, mild flavor and low sodium content, making it easy to season soups, braised dishes, rice, or sauces exactly the way you like, without the harsh saltiness that comes with many store-bought broths. Another major advantage is its shelf life. Unopened, these cartons can last 1 to 2 years and don't take up valuable refrigerator space, making them a convenient pantry staple for everyday cooking. 17. Nutella. Nutella is one of those rare products that has earned true global recognition. Fewer people realize just how massive its demand is. The company behind it buys about 25% of the world's hazelnut supply each year just to keep up. That figure alone says a lot about how popular it is. Because Nutella is so familiar, many people grab a jar out of habit, picking it up wherever it's available without ever thinking about the cost per spoonful. Costco offers a much smarter way to buy it. Instead of paying for a single small jar at the grocery store, you can pick up a 2-pack of large Nutella jars for around $14.99, about 35% cheaper than buying them individually elsewhere, for the exact same creamy chocolate hazelnut spread. 18. La Brea Bakery Baguette Bread. La Brea Bakery baguettes are one of those purchases that really make you do a double take when you compare prices. At upscale bakeries, a single baguette can run anywhere from $3.50 to $4, and sometimes it's not even as fresh as you'd hope. At Costco, you can get 4 artisan-style baguettes for about $8, roughly the cost of just one loaf elsewhere. The difference isn't just the price, it's the quality. The crust is crisp and crackly, delivering that satisfying crunch when you slice it, while the interior is soft, airy, and perfectly structured. These are true French-style baguettes, not the soft, industrial-style loaves you often see in grocery stores. Because there are no preservatives, the bread is best eaten within the first few days. But here's a simple trick. Slice it and freeze it. A frozen baguette will keep for up to 6 months, and when you need it, just toast a few minutes to enjoy it hot, crisp, and fresh again. 19. Vital Proteins. Collagen powder. Many people initially dismissed Vital Proteins collagen powder as just another wellness fad, until they started using it consistently for a few weeks and began noticing real results. What sets this product apart is its simplicity and ease of use. The powder is completely odorless and tasteless, dissolves instantly into hot coffee, smoothies, or other beverages, and doesn't clump or alter the flavor of your drink. Each scoop delivers 20 grams of grass-fed bovine collagen, supporting joints, skin, and hair, precisely what most people are looking for in a daily supplement. At Costco, a 20-ounce container of Vital Proteins typically costs around $24.99, which is 30 to 40% less than the same size at stores like GNC or Whole Foods. With daily use, a single container lasts just over a month, making it an affordable and convenient way to maintain a long-term wellness routine. 20. Advil Pain Reliever. Advil is one of those staples almost every household keeps on hand, yet it's usually purchased in a rush. A sudden headache, back pain, or a mild fever in the middle of the night leaves no time to compare prices. You just need relief immediately. That's exactly when Advil quietly becomes expensive. Grabbed last minute at a drugstore or convenience store, the cost per tablet can be surprisingly high. Costco gets this perfectly. Instead of selling small bottles, they offer a 360-count bottle of genuine Advil, which brings the price down to under 5 cents per tablet. Buy the same tablets elsewhere, and it can easily run 15 to 20 cents per pill. Same formula, same dosage. The only difference is where you buy it. Many people also don't realize that ibuprofen, when stored properly, remains effective for years beyond the printed expiration date. What all the items on this list share, whether food, household essentials, or health products, is repeat use. Costco wins because it provides consistent quality at stable prices, helping you avoid those quiet overspending moments that come from last-minute or single-item purchases. The real value isn't just the money saved, it's also time, effort, and frustration. Buy the right product in the right place once, and you sidestep dozens of regretful purchases down the line. Which of these items makes you look back and wish you'd been buying it at Costco all along?